Halloween is a remake, reimagining of the 1978 horror film of the same name, written, directed and produced by Rob Zombie. It is a reboot of the Halloween film series, making it the 9th installment of the franchise. Working from John Carpenter's advice to make this film his own, Zombie chose to develop the film as both a prequel and a remake, allowing for more original content than simply refilming the same scenes. On Halloween in Haddonfield, Illinois, having already shown signs of psychopathic tendencies, played by Dave Ferrich, brutally murders a school bully named Wesley. Later that night, Michael murders his older sister Judith, his mother's boyfriend Ronnie, played by William Forsythe, and Judith's boyfriend Steve. Only his baby sister Angel Myers is spared. Michael is found guilty of first-degree murder and sent to Smith's Grove, Warren County Sanitarium, under the care of child psychologist Dr. Samuel Loomis, played by Malcolm McDowell.
Hello. Can you talk a minute?
Hi, I'm Michael Myers.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. Okay, we're on. How are you feeling today?
Good. Could I ask you something?
You can ask me whatever you want. In fact, that's why I'm here. If you have anything on your mind, feel free. Anything.
Okay. Why do you talk so funny?
Talk so funny. Tell me, Michael, what do you remember about that night, Halloween?
What do you mean, like my costume and candy?
So you remember nothing about the killing? You remember nothing about getting a knife?
I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. But you were covered in blood. Whose blood was it?
Michael initially cooperates with Dr. Loomis, claiming no memory of the killings. His mother Deborah, played by Sherry Moon Zombie, visits him regularly. After a year, Michael becomes fixated on his papier-mâché masks, closing himself off to everyone, even his mother. When Michael kills a nurse as Deborah is leaving from one of her visits, she can no longer handle the situation and commits suicide. For the next 15 years, Michael, now played by Tyler Mane, continues making his masks and not speaking to anyone. Dr. Loomis, having continued to treat Michael over the years, attempts to move on with his life and closes Michael's case. Later, while being prepared for transfer to maximum security, Michael escapes Smith's Grove, killing the sanitarium employees and a truck driver for his overalls, and heads to Haddonfield. On Halloween, Michael arrives at his old home, now abandoned, recovers the kitchen knife and Halloween mask he stored under the floorboards the night he killed his sister. The story then shifts to Laurie Strode, now played by Scout Taylor Compton, and her friends Annie and Linda on Halloween. Throughout the day, Laurie witnesses Michael watching her from a distance. That night, she heads to the Dorr residence to watch their son Tommy. Meanwhile, Linda meets with her boyfriend Bob at Michael's childhood home. Michael appears, murders them, and then heads to the Strode home where he murders Laurie's parents. Having been alerted to Michael's escape, Dr. Loomis comes to Haddonfield looking for Michael. After obtaining a handgun, Loomis attempts to warn Sheriff Brackett that Michael's returned to Haddonfield, and Brackett and Dr. Loomis head to the Strode home. Can they get to Laurie before Michael does? Many people's issues with this movie relate to Michael's childhood and the scenes involving his redneck family, and those issues are valid. Some of those scenes are intriguing, and Dave Ferrich does a good job as a young Michael. The problem arises, though, that doing this with Halloween is that it comes in conflict with the concept of Michael being purely evil. Although it's easy to understand what Zombie was trying to do by exploring Michael's background, it contradicts the whole point of the original. By providing a reason and displaying a human character on screen, you give the character a soul. And despite what Zombie may claim, this does not make Michael scarier. It makes him an average movie serial killer, a guy with a messed up life as a kid who snaps one day and goes on a killing rampage. Given Michael Myers this kind of background does nothing but humanize him, which completely steals his character of any intrigue or mystery, and it is that mystery that made him so damn scary in the original. Another huge issue that is found that other than 2 or 3 characters, it's very difficult to feel bad for many of the people that Michael murders. In most cases, they're portrayed as arrogant, grotesque human beings, and you can't help but feel a slight sense of joy seeing them get their comeuppance.
Somebody around here's got to make some money.
I'm all broken up here, bitch. I can't work.
Yeah, and whose fault is that?
Fuck
Oh
you.
my God, you're pathetic.
You know that new waitress over at the bingo lounge? She can give me the freaky eye.
Oh, the whore with the big tits hanging down to her knees?
Maybe I'll choke the chicken, purge my snorkel all over them flappy ass tits.
Good, we'll have a good fucking time.
I will.
I hope she likes cripples.
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you.
Oh, I'll get the crutches for you.
Character development is another problem with Zombies Halloween. During the first 2 acts of the film, you're made to believe that Michael was the main character in the movie, but suddenly, during the 3rd act, we are introduced to Laurie, and it feels rushed, leaving her feeling underdeveloped and lacking any real personality that makes her stand out from her group of friends. The thing is, Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie does a fantastic job with the character considering the time she has, but it could have been handled better. The reason why this is such an issue is because it leaves a character feeling very disposable, like many of the others, which is the complete opposite of the original. No killer of any movie should ever be portrayed as the main character. And those are the negatives, but there are things that can be enjoyed. Firstly, Halloween has never looked this good. The cinematography for the film is excellent and really adds to some of the more intense moments, particularly during scenes involving Michael murdering someone.
I'm gonna cut that mask right off your face.
Malcolm McDowell was a brilliant choice to play Dr. Loomis and ends up being probably the only likeable character in the film. He isn't as clear-cut as Donald Pleasance was. He has his faults and also does some shady business, attempting to make profit off the Myers case. Then there's the casting of Tyler Mane as Michael Myers. The man is huge and is undoubtedly far more imposing than the original. He fills up entire doorways. The scenes that take place during Michael's time in the asylum, it did a great job of showing him slowly disconnecting from reality and retreating into himself. It's really easy to like that it was established during Michael's escape from the assignment, regardless if you're nice to him or not, he will kill you, which is sewn particularly well with Danny Trejo's character. Fans of Rob Zombie's other movies like House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects will be aware that he has a tendency to go for shock value as a director-writer, with large quantities of blunt language and blunt gore. At the same point in Halloween, it goes a little too far in attempting to shock the audience with these techniques. The gore effects, while impressively done, are way too excessive. The language used feels forced and at times almost unintentionally funny. Rob Zombie's Halloween is an entertaining movie from start to finish, that is for sure. The overall look and tone of the film is dark and a real treat for the eyes. If you're a fan of his other work, then you won't be disappointed in that regard. The gore effects, while insanely over the top, are hugely impressive and there are some decent kills to be seen. Unfortunately though, Rob Zombie's Halloween fails to bring anything new to the table other than giving us a much more human Michael Myers, and by doing so ends up making him less interesting and certainly less scary. The original Halloween is a horror classic, and that lives long in the memories of those that have seen it, and will continue to be seen again and again by new audiences at all. While there are parts to like about Rob Zombie's Halloween, there is no doubt that the same cannot be said.